Xenoborgs are a very unique antagonist, as in, I believe they have absolutely no roots from Space Station 13 and are truly of a unique design, which is very rare in Space Station 14. Most things in Space Station 14 are taken from 13 or rehashed from 13. The Xenoborg ship has a chance of spawning at the start of a round as like something like Thieves do. It can be like an additional sub game mode. Of course, usually players will already have had these roles taken, but in this case, there's no one here, so they have ghost rolls. There are 5 round start Xenoborg roles. There are 4 Xenoborgs, one of each type, which we will cover, and at the core of it all, the most important part, you cannot grow this antagonist without the core. This is a conversion-based antagonist, so the core is essential. We're going to start off by showcasing the core. These are cyborgs and basically an AI. You're the mothership core. Guide the Xenoborg so they can bring your materials and sentient brains so you can grow the Xenoborg army and turn all carbon-based life form into silicon. As the core, you are quite literally stationary. You funnily enough can rotate and you have unique sprites for each side, but that's an unnecessary detail. At the top left of your screen, this is what is important. You are a part of a ship, like a floating spaceship, core, whatever you want to call this thing. You are the center of it. Your second action is the control console. This lets you see all the different cyborgs that are under your army that you can control. Obviously, there are none right now, unimportant. There is a camera monitor that lets you watch through Xenoborg's eyes. Of course, when we have them, we can see that. None of this stuff's all that complicated. You have a set of laws, but these laws are just to really describe what you are and like how this antagonist works. For example, you are the core of the mothership. You must protect your own existence at all costs. You must protect the existence of all Xenoborgs. You must create more Xenoborgs. Get your Xenoborgs to deliver you material and sentient brains to create more Xenoborgs. Grow, save yourself, save your friends. And then you have 2 modules. If you're used to cyborgs, you'll know how modules work. There is the mothership module. This module lets you have 5 different things. You have a remote for opening Xenoborg doors, so you might have to let Xenoborgs in or out. You can also, of course, bolt these doors if there's a security breach. These doors have very unique sprites. They have great opening animations. I love seeing it. I like seeing the different lights, too. It very fits this, like, alien cyborg theme, which they nailed the alien cyborg theme. The windows especially are gorgeous, in my opinion. Then you have a brain and MMI interaction, so man-machine interfaces and brains. This is important and necessary for growing the army. You have modules for upgrading your Xenoborgs. We'll cover all this. The ability to pick up construction materials, which is very important because you are literally a lathe. And the 5th one is power cells. And then you have a set of tools, which isn't really, like, don't need too much explanation there. It's really just this mothership module that is important. Now, of course, you're going to have 4 Xenoborgs working for you immediately, but you also are a literal lathe and you can make certain things. You can make one of the 4 Xenoborgs as mentioned. How do you actually get materials? Well, there are some materials you can find by default in your mothership. You have to use the construction material part of your module, and I will just do a very quick note. This is a very difficult antagonist to play. It requires knowledge of how cyborgs work in general, so managing a bunch of hand slots and managing module slots. Since you're a lathe, you actually have a somewhat decent interaction range. It's really the length of this like circular room here. You can interact with these like computers. That's about as far as you can reach. So right off the bat, you're giving 60 steel, 30 plastic, 30 plasteel, 30 glass, and you can and will use all of these in order to make more Xenoborgs. What's really neat is that each one has different cost. So if you manage your economy well, you can spit out more Xenoborgs, but you probably should be making the specific Xenoborgs that thinks fits your strategy. You are the core, so it's up to you to pick what type of Xenoborgs you want. There's a very cool sprite on the your core itself, showing that you are indeed an active lathe and you're working on making a new Xenoborg. We are going to rip the brain out, so you have to swap to your tool module, and you need to alt-click the Borg to unlock it, and then use a crowbar to pull open its maintenance panel, and then you can open the UI, and you have to pop the man-machine interface out, because if you don't pop this out, you won't be able to put a brain into it. This is all we can do right now. We cannot go get the brain ourselves. We are a stationary and mobile object. This is why you have Xenoborgs. You have a little army to do this. Of course, though, this is not a new thing for Xenoborgs. It's a lot like Nukies. You have to take your ship and you have to fly it there. So in case you don't know how to do this, You press E on the console, you go to map, you scan, you go to the name of the station. I'm on the dev environment, so you just go here, and then you FTL wherever you can, as close as you can. This is a fully functioning ship, so you can fly as close as you want. There is also a IFF computer over there. Funnily enough, though, you actually can't interact with this as the core, so you need to have one of your Xenoborgs turn on IFF before you actually fly in. But otherwise, this is just a ship with the unique console is the Xenoborgs control console. Xenoborgs are a conversion antagonist. You need to work together heavily to get to the station. I can't imagine Xenoborgs are going to want to dock, but we're not discussing strategy. We're discussing how to convert, which is the main part of this antagonist. The Heavy is really good at killing humans, people, crew members. In this case, anyone is fair game. It does not matter who they are. They will all become equal as a Xenoborg. You can kill them, crit them, whatever. It does not matter. You just need their corpse, and you need to bring it back to your ship. Inside the ship, there are these body crushers. As you can imagine, you put the body in it. You press E to open it. Press E to close it. Alt-click it. And, yeah, you turn them into a fine paste. This part is easy. You just kill people, you bring them back, you open this up, and you find the brain, you take the brain back over here, and your core is the part that wants the brain. So, there's the brain, we brought it to the core. Now, it's up to the core to make a new Xenoborg, which I will showcase the process fully. As to core, we'll go through this once more. You do have round start materials. The Xenoborgs could bring you more, but you need these materials to make the Borgs. You then pick whatever chassis you want. So let's just say I want to make another heavy. That's 20 steel, 10 plasteel. That's all I need. It will take time to produce the chassis. Now that the Borg is made, again, you have no way of actually manipulating where it's at, so you just have to do it here. You alt-click to unlock it. You swap to your tool module. You pry open the access panel. You right-click, do this, open its contextual manual, toggle UI, pop the man-machine interface out. You can also see all the modules that it comes with by default. You then will take the man-machine interface, so you go back to your other module. You take this, you probably move it somewhere you can actually see it. It does go underneath it. Pick up the brain, put the brain in it, and then left-click the Xenoborg. Now, it will be a new Xenoborg. Here, you can see that it's back in the full robotics console menu. So you can see that its brain is installed. You can see the battery, which Xenoborgs are being damaged. So you could try to designate other Xenoborgs here. We could very quickly look at how you can look through their eyes. This also is really simple, honestly. Don't need to discuss this too much. Here, you can look through the different Xenoborgs' eyes. So what happened to the player that became the Xenoborg? Well, it's also pretty simple. As a fresh Xenoborg, you are going to be whatever chassis you are designated as. So again, I just made a heavy. You'll have all the laws of a normal Xenoborg. You actually won't be able to open the doors right away because you're not going to have power, but there's charging stations right outside, which you can use to power yourself on. Let me just actually fix my vision here. The vision thing is a bug. Don't worry about that. So now that you've assimilated another Xenoborg, your army has grown, and the goal is to convert as many people as you possibly can. Anyone you kill should be brought back here, converted. If you don't have the materials to do it, you should go find the materials. All the Xenoborgs have this basic module. Inside here, you can pick up construction materials, you can pick up silicon, there's a silicon storage for more materials as well, so you can loot it and bring it back to your core. Mini energy crossbow is a very iconic yet infamous weapon from Space Station 13. It is available for 5 telecrystals and Nukis and syndicate agents, and you can only buy a singular one. The go-to sidearm of any operative who prefers their victims not to be moving fires a generating toxic arrows that floors victims in an instant. That description is thankfully an accurate one. When you shoot somebody with it, they will instantly be forced into a prone position and take some toxic damage. This is also an infinite ammo gun, meaning that it has potentially infinite value. So, when you pick up the crossbow, it is just an energy bolt gun. It's nothing too complicated. You can shoot it with one hand. So, I will shoot this Urus from off screen. It does have a long range. You can also see the velocity there. It's not amazing velocity, but it does have the ability of knocking somebody prone instantaneously. It also does some interesting damage types. It does a little bit of pierce. Not a whole lot, but it does 12 poison over time. It's not an instantaneous injection. We can shoot them again real quick with it just to show you the damage in real time. You'll see they immediately take some poison. It's pretty much instant. It is worth mentioning that since it is poison damage, even if you shoot somebody like somebody with the CMO hardsuit, this is not resisted because it is not like most hardsuits resist caustic, not poison. So the damage can be pretty helpful even on people who would usually you would think have resistance to this type of thing. It isn't like an injection, so it's okay damage. The crossbow itself, once you shoot it, has a 4.5 second, or it might even be a 5 second recharge. So you can't just like DPS somebody down. The DPS is awful, but that is not the point. The main point of this is that it not only forces somebody prone, it does not disarm them, by the way. It, however, does 45 stamina damage, and that is what makes this a very, very strong weapon. I feel like this is going to be a must-buy for pretty much everyone going loud due to the fact it can stop somebody chasing you in an instant. Security no longer has service access by default. I had no idea they ever even had this, surprisingly. I guess I've just never tried to open a service door, and I've just never seen a security officer try, or if they did, I just assumed they got access. But, yeah, simple change, but I think this slipped many people's attention. Grenades fuses will automatically start when when it takes 10 damage. So if Stinger Grenade, if it takes a singular hit from a knife, that will actually cause the fuse to start. If you do 45 damage to it, it will actually just straight up disappear. So this basically means you have to cook grenades in more intense fighting situations, because like an E-sword could theoretically 2-hit a stinger grenade, so if it gets thrown at you immediately, you could actually melee the stinger grenade until it's gone. However, volatile grenades, like just like a grenade, will still have the 10-second fuse timer, but they just straight up explode instead of disappear. So it's probably not going to ever really be seen somebody trying to melee the thing out of the air. But what it's for is like chain explosives won't continue to chain react. Personally, I kind of like the like Halo 1 style, like nuclear hell that could happen with multiple grenades chain exploding off of each other. But I guess grenades on the outer edges can still start their fuses afterwards. It's going to be interesting. It's a decent change up for grenades. We'll have to see how it plays out. The Rat King is now 0.5 units faster while sprinting. This was labeled as a bug fix, so apparently they were always intended to be this fast, and this is another one of those things I never knew. But them being this much faster makes them a lot harder to catch, and you literally can't chase after them and melee them because they're just straight up faster than you now, even without speed penalty. And their minions, though, are still like not as fast as the King, so the Rat King has to be slow or else they're going to leave their Dominion and their servants behind. Crawl speed is now determined based off how many free hands you have. So if you crawl with both hands open, you move at a speed of 1.8. If you have one hand taken, it goes down to 0.9. And if you were to wield something or have both hands occupied, you can no longer move. So that means you still can drop shot, but you won't be able to just slide around on the ground, so you kind of just fall into place. This is a step to make crawling less combat viable. You can still crawl around, slither around slowly with like an energy sword in your hand or something, but if both hands are occupied, and just to showcase, it's not just wielding. If you have both hands occupied, you just can't move. If you drop the item, you go back to 0.9, get rid of both items or stow them, but go back up to the 1.8 speed. So less combat viable crawling because of this, or at least more stationary because of it, whatever. And last but not least, modules now tell you what type of cyborg it goes into when you shift click it. So this module fits into janitor cyborgs, for example. This is true for all of them. So this is also great for Xenoborgs, I mean. So you can tell which of the modules go into them, because that was something I had confusion with or problems with. So now it's great that all cyborgs now have more easily identified beyond just a few pixels on the sprite that indicate their color. What do you think our maintainers and contributors for all their awesome work? A new antagonist and a new prolific syndicate item is awesome for a 2-week period. The new antagonists are incredibly rare on Upstream, so this is the first new antagonist since Wizard. So very exciting times. Hope everyone gets to see them, have fun with them, and get converted to the machine hive mind. Thank you for watching.